Good evening to you. It is Tuesday, November 19th at 10:52 p.m. It's actually the 4-minute TV timeout in the Purdue Marquette game. Purdue is down. Currently, they're down by 13. Marquette is absolutely handing it to Purdue. They're just dictating everything in the game, dictating the pace, dictating the style of play. I've been trying to be positive on what Purdue's doing well and tried to come up with a little, I don't know, perspective, but I really don't have any. Marquette has done everything they've wanted to tonight. Purdue really hasn't done anything they've wanted to. And if you look at the way players are playing, Kaufman-Wren, I think, leads all scorers for Purdue. But at the same time, he's playing pretty poorly. Purdue's bigs have been frustratingly bad, have no answer for Marquette's energy under the basket. The top of the key, Marquette is in Purdue's business every time Purdue puts the ball on the floor. Passing lanes are guarded. Purdue's slow to take shots, slow to make decisions, and it plays right into Marquette's hands. It's a bad game. The interesting thing is it ends that ridiculously long streak, 39-game win streak for Purdue, where they don't lose in the pre-con, or they haven't for the last 3 years, and finally they're going to lose their first game, and they will split the two between Alabama and Marquette. Let me mention my sponsors. Thanks to our pals at AJ's. When you're at Mackey Arena and usually you're leaving after a victory, you want to head towards the fire station, turn left at the blue lights there, and go into AJ's, get a bite to eat. Get a pint. Maybe get a Purdue Magnet or a Boiled Sports Magnet at the bottom of your beer at AJ's. That's eatajs.com. Burgers, beef, and beer. AJ's. And also, if you need a Christmas gift, you need something fun for your favorite Purdue fan, head over to homefieldapparel.com. Enter Boiled25 at checkout. Get 15% off your first order. They got some mystery packs right now, and they've got some platinum packs that have a bunch of stuff that's just in those packs, but a lot of good stuff to look at, a lot of nice retro Purdue stuff. Check them out, and other teams too. So I thought I'd get a live look in and get this out of the way. I like I said, my headline already gives out my feelings that this game's over. Even with 3 minutes left, Purdue's down 13. They just broke the timeout. I'll start reading your comments now. Your boy Max says he hates losing. I think everybody hates losing, but my perspective on this season is a little bit different. I've been frustrated with this one because all of Purdue's problems they've had this year at different times showed up at the same time, meaning Marquette exploited those things, went right at them. Purdue has shot really poorly from deep. That's kept them from being in the game. Marquette's defense is great. They're a good defensive team. Shaka Smart's old havoc idea. He's not doing that exactly what he did at VCU, but they really, their pace and their intensity really took Purdue way out of their game. Caleb Furst has played horribly, I'd argue. I'm a guy that's been his proponent and in his corner all year, but this is a bad game for Caleb. He made a lot of mistakes, brought the ball down below his waist a lot, and Marquette would make him pay every single time he did it. Marquette's smaller than Purdue, too, except with one exception. I think they got a 7-footer out there, but he's not a physical 7-footer. Purdue's used to playing physical bigs. I think that just gave, what's his name, a triple-double, didn't it? He's close anyway. Maybe I'm wrong. But bad game for Purdue all around. Marquette, great game. Marquette did exactly what they wanted to. There you go. Cam Jones has 13, 12, and 9. So he needs an assist. Somebody should help him out. Get that. Now it's 67-53. RT Huxley says, I don't know what that means. Sam Lovejoy says, didn't like the travel call on TK in the first half. Killed some momentum. Man, Purdue has had so little momentum. Every time it looked like they're having momentum, Marquette would kind of flex their muscle, push the ball, or push the lead out to 9 or 10 points. Purdue has no answer for Jones. No answer at all. It's amazing because Alabama's got horses, they got athletes, but Jones is real special. Colvin hasn't been able to do anything to slow him down. Smith looked good for a little while early, but he's gotten out in front of his skis a couple times. With that, there you go. Smith hit the three. That's cuts the lead to just 13 with a minute 30 left, 56-69. Minute 33 left. Timeout. Purdue. It looks like. Let's see. Josh Bowen says their defense is insane. They're a very, very good defensive team, no doubt. Boiler Bugle. This is when you need a guy like Zach Edey, right? This is one of those games that Zach Edey glosses over the warts, right? And this is the first one where you've really seen, well, we've seen it multiple games this year, but this is the first one you've seen where Purdue doesn't have an answer because they don't have Zach Edey, right? They couldn't hit a jumper. They never got real hot. There never was a period of time where they got into a rhythm. And Marquette's defenders, on-ball defenders, were so good. Purdue didn't get any room, didn't hit any shots. Let's see. Boiler Bugle says first looked really uncomfortable. All game he did, and he played a lot of minutes too. I don't have the count on his minutes, but he played a lot. Ben Carnahan, how are you, Ben? Tough nights. Not sure we see this good of a defense in the big. Marquette has been the better team. Good learning from. Yeah, that's the thing. Good learning for a young team. This is a really good type of game for a team like Purdue to play, and it's really good for Painter. He's got so many illustrative things that he can do with the team. He can really say, I've been telling you guys, it takes this level of intensity. This is the way you have to play to beat really good teams. And we weren't even close. I mean, this game's not going to be close. Minute 33, it's not going to be close. Meisterberger says, whoa, called it a bit early. I did, but I felt completely confident. Purdue's now fouling. I called this. I thought about going on at the 8-minute mark, but I was like, that's a little much. But yeah, I called it. Zach Welch says paint schedule's really hard, and this is a game that will grow from. Really missing having a rim protector. Jacobson was so important to this team. Yeah, Jacobson was important. He was also a guy that was going to be really good late in the season. So you got to learn to live without him. Plenty of time to do it, and it's going to take development. Some other guys. Burgess had a chance. He came in, looked lost. Purdue's bigs look lost. Let's just be real honest, especially on defense. TKR was able to score again, but TKR, though, man, they only gave him credit for 3 turnovers. I swear he had 4 or 5. Maybe, I don't know. You guys tell me I'm wrong, but that's fine. Boilers 012 said, didn't expect a win tonight, but frustrated with the struggle on offense. Walt Jordan said, it's the best on X. Seemed 2 to 3 steps behind all night. Not used to being out-toughed. They were out-toughed, out-quicked, out-athleted. Lot of good stuff to look at on tape because you can point at this game for weeks as a motivator. Smith on a drive, he misses a layup. Marquette pulls down the rebound. Marquette's up 15 with a minute 10 left. Purdue is not going to foul. And Marquette has slowed down the pace a little bit. But Purdue didn't get I think they said Purdue had 4 points on transition tonight. Marquette, just like many games this year, they had tons of points in the paint. I think they doubled Purdue up in the paint. 3 from the right side, bang. Marquette is now up 18 points. They're not going to let up. So why should they? These guys are pros. Literally, everybody's a pro on the court right now. Lawyer, little bunny, misses off front rim. TKR rebound, puts back, missed. Marquette rebound. They're taking their time coming to the court. 35 seconds left, up 18 points. Looks like Shaka's trying to tell them to really take their time. Jeff Nestor says, we are very slow on defense. Marquette is so much quicker. Purdue has a lot to work on. And this is one of those games that really shows how much you have to work on. And getting hammered, and Purdue did get hammered tonight. Make no bones about it. Marquette's probably underrated and Purdue's overrated. I thought I said I thought they'd come up to 8th and they landed at 6th in the polls. We talked about that after the Alabama win. So, but Purdue has been overrated. I've been saying that the entire time, but this is Marquette. This is a good team at home. Kind of glad I didn't go right about now. Chris R says under 50% inside the arc. That includes TKR inside. Meisterberger says Cox and Miles 5 threes. Is that right? Let's look at that. I'm sorry, I'm going to catch up for a second. I haven't looked at many stats. I didn't want to do this yet. Smith 3 for 5. Heidi 2 for 3. Cox over 2. Yeah, sorry. I'll go back to this. Minute. I shouldn't do it right now. Lawyer on the drive, hits 2, 14 seconds left. Purdue down by 18 again. Sorry. We should run it out. Your boy Max G says, it felt like once Braden airballed that fadeaway, things went downhill. It felt to me like Marquette just had Purdue's number from the jump. I'll be honest. Like every time Purdue would, they do a good job bringing the 9-point leads down to 6. And this, what's neat about this game? A couple things. They're not rushing the court, which I appreciate. This is the first time in forever somebody hadn't rushed the court. It feels to me like this might be kind of this is what I thought would happen this year. I think Purdue's going to lose another game in the pre-con at least. So there's my stepping out a little further. But this might be kind of the time where Purdue starts figuring some things out that they got to grow up a lot. So, yeah, I think Purdue could lose 2 more in the pre-con. I know I sound very negative. I don't think that's an awful thing, by the way. I don't think that's an awful thing, but maybe that's looked at as like a hot take from many here. But what's not normal is doing what Purdue did the last few years in pre-con, if we're being real honest. I mean, Alabama, I think, lost 3 or 4 in the pre-con last year. At least 3 or 4, actually, when I look back. I mean, they had a hell of a schedule, probably better than Purdue's this year, but still. Jeff Nestor says, Smith, much better shooter when he's not twisting and fading away. No doubt about it. Jeremiah Easterbrook says, feeling the loss of Edey, getting outscored so badly in the paint all the time. Yeah, and like we've all talked about, too, the losing Jacobson in the wake of that's pretty tough. So it's a double whammy. Our Parable says, really going live before the buzzer. Yeah. I've done it before this year, but this game I was like, okay, like Anish talked about the idea of coming on live in a game looked like Purdue was going to win and then jinxing it or seeing somebody get injured or something like that. I was like, okay, I'm going to go against that altogether. Go live when Purdue's down. Yeah, this game was over. So, let's see. Chris R says defensive rebounding has been better, to be honest. Yeah. They've shown signs of life. They just haven't. I mean, the Alabama game, they played. I don't think it's a perfect game by any means, but they played their best game, of course. Mackey fueled that thing, but they've shown signs that there were cracks in the levee, if you will, and they're there. And this is what this season should be looked at. It should be about process. There's a lot Purdue needs to get better at. I love the people that are in charge that are going to make it happen. And Purdue will get better, but they're going to lose some games along the way that'll be frustrating to watch. I don't know. I mean, there's so many guys that are young that are playing important roles. There's so much to learn. I mean, just the fact that, a lot of guys haven't, nobody's lost a pre-con game other than first. I mean, get your head around that. That's bizarre. So Smith and Lawyer, this is new to them. That's craziness, right? And TKR, that's crazy in itself. Michael JB says, didn't feel that they came out sharp. No, they didn't. Hung around, had chances, cut it twice to single possession, didn't capitalize. Noam 23 says, this will be a season of ups and downs. Yes, I agree. Andy Baird says, this is vintage Shaka Smart team. Yeah, that looked like a Shaka Smart team. They looked a lot more like a vintage Shaka Smart team here than they did last year. In fact, it's wild. They lost Kolick, is that his name, the point guard? But the way this team is constructed, they're a lot more like a normal Shaka Smart team. Kolick was good, but they are active. They're active with their hands and their feet up top. I mean, the thing that killed me is Purdue never seemed to understand that you've got to play in transition against a team like this, not let their defense get set up, because once they do, they're locking you down. They're locking everything down. And Purdue doesn't have that guy to dump down to and just break it or beat it. TKR, he had a lot of points, but he's struggling to get his shot off a lot, right? Because they'd bring that double team and kind of dare you to find where is that guy that's open. Somebody's open, but it's hard to find him. I don't think Jones ended with a triple-double, right? He ended 1 assist short. Is that true? Give me some stats, Fox. Doesn't matter. Okay. Here we go. Oh, I got it. 17, 13, and 10. It's pretty incredible. 17, 13, and 10. Cam Jones. He's really good. Nolan Hosteller says, young team like ours need a loss early. We'll get better. They will get better. Nobody needs a loss. I hate saying that, right? Especially coaches hate to say that, but they need to learn some things. And if it takes losing to learn those things, then I'm all for it. Brother Ted says, Purdue needs a big man. We don't have one. Our best path is to play Burgess a lot and hope he matures. Burgess is quite a bit away right now from being able to play 20, 25 minutes a game. He just is. He'll get there, but he's got to learn to do. So that's a big statement to say, put him in there and just roll the dice. I think the smarter play is going with the smaller lineup where you have TKR as the 5 and you move quicker. So that's my opinion. Ethan says lack of center makes really worried for the IU game. Wow, we're going ahead there. Looking at the IU game already. There's a lot of basketball before the IU game. Adam, how are you? Damn, already live. Could have been listening to this. Yeah, good to see you, Adam. I hope your travels were good. Hope your drive was good back home. Thaddeus Grubaugh says, Colvin playing D and crashing the glass has been a breath of fresh air. It's like he's forgot to hunt his shots. Yeah, that's one difference. I think he and Heidi both at times have looked like they're not looking for the shots. There are a couple. I mean, Heidi took a couple threes, but he had one where he got the ball in rhythm and he didn't go right up and shoot. He's got to do that. He gets the ball in rhythm. He's got to take the shot. Same thing for Colvin, of course. Brock Stepler says, learn from it. Good experience for young guys in a tough environment. Marquette's really good. I agree. I think Marquette will be a top 10 team in the next, but well, it's going to be pretty quick. They're going to be top 10 team in 2 weeks, probably. That's my guess. I don't know what their schedule is. I haven't checked it. Not a Marquette guy. I just think they'll be right up there, and they're going to win a lot of games. That defense is great. Ron Gable, how are you? Says, got Marquette's best game. Purdue not ready for the pressure. Lots to work on. All isn't lost. There's no Edie to fall back on. We'll figure out. Yeah, you will. They're better. They're a better team. Right now, Marquette's a lot better team than Purdue. I mean, their experience shows up here. Purdue's lack of experience showed itself pretty easily to see it. Pretty easy to see it. Jay Tent says, I'm shocked how easily all the bigs got displaced and moved out of the way. They've been practicing for Edie for years and still are that weak. Well, it's not really, to me, I look at a couple of these guys are not playing, they're playing more minutes than they're used to. They're playing against ones, which they're not used to. The only one who really is used to playing up there in that big of a role is TKR, of course, right? First was a guy who came on the bench, and really last year he was a bit of a spark plug. Sometimes, he hardly didn't play any minutes down the stretch, but he was a guy that would, take that corner three, so it means his back is not to the basket. And Berg is he's not all the way there yet, right? He's big and strong, but it's more than big and strong to get positioned like that. You have to get down and start working early. And, yeah, they've got work to do. There's no doubt about it. I think they've got to overhaul what they're looking to do first, and this can be a hard thing for Paint to say we're going to go away from having a 7-footer on the court. But the realization will come soon, I think. Berg should play, but he should come off the bench. He again started the game, which Ryan Ludwig said before the game. Said it before the game that a loss would be good for these guys, but not ideal by 18. Yeah, it's humbling. Mike Gordon says Marquette's defense was relentless and impressive. Wish Purdue played the D like that. Yeah, they not only is it very intense defense, it's all 5 guys they're all involved. So really, really impressive game by Marquette. Really impressive game plan. Shaka Smart. I've been waiting for years to see a Shaka Smart team look like this again because he really hasn't had it in a while. But yeah, they look good. Matt Keller says this loss is a great thing to happen. That's a wake up call. 14 steals. That's why Purdue lost. Purdue know what this team could do. Yeah. So Purdue had 7 or 8. Purdue had 3 turnovers in this game. I think before the 4-minute timeout, if I'm thinking correctly. Remember the Alabama game, they had 3 turnovers in the whole game. And then I think the 8-minute timeout, they had 7 or 8 turnovers. And much of that wasn't Purdue making mistakes. It was just Marquette just really disrupting everything Purdue wanted to do. Gentry BN says TKR is our only player who can convert at the rim. Berg can't hold on the ball first, can't convert at the rim. Dominated in the paint every part of the game. It's not going to change. I think one of the problems here, I think asking guys to be something they're not, and I really, I think I was wrong here too, because I thought First was ready for a bigger role, and it doesn't look like he is. So bring him off the bench. That's fine. I mean, today he looked lost at times, and that's tough, but it's okay. I mean, like, it's not the end of the world. You just got to figure out, you got to adjust the lineups. Purdue has to play with more suddenness too. To me, you gotta try to get transition baskets, and Marquette took that away from Purdue, and Purdue didn't try to take it back. Jim Arvin says the inability to contain the dribble drive without DJ back there. Woof. Yeah. So let me look at stats now that everything's set. I'll come back here to your comments. But okay, so final score, like I said, 76-58. Marquette improves to 5-0. They're 15th best team in America. Purdue's the 6th best team in America, according to the polls. Purdue's 4-1 now. And a guy on Twitter said to me, he was talking about this as being just a great indictment of Purdue. And the blueprint was there of how easy it is to beat Purdue. Here's the trick. If you're really good and you're based on defense like that, you're going to be a lot of teams. It's not just Purdue. And so, yes, Purdue is a work in progress. Purdue's going to lose some games, but at the same time, this is a formula that most teams can mimic. Make no bones about it. Marquette plays a very, very aggressive style of defense, and they were all over Smith at the 3/4 away of the court. They were on him, right? And so they would start that soft trap to try to get him to make a mistake even before he crossed the half court line. They're good. Their system's good. TKR leads all scorers for Purdue. All scores just for Purdue on the Purdue side. 16 points, 8 boards, 3 assists, just 3 turnovers. Again, I swear he had 4 or 5 turnovers, but I must be wrong. Braden Smith, 11 points, 4 boards, 9 assists, 2 turnovers, and I thought he had an extra one there too. Lawyer, 13 points, 1 board, 2 assists. And then down low, first had 8 points, but he also had just 1 turnover, 2 rebounds. It's killing Purdue. So Purdue barely gets out rebounded, 33-32. It felt like it was much worse than that. But it's weird to see Purdue, because we haven't seen it at all in the last 2 years, maybe 3 years. We haven't seen Purdue just get out toughed. Even teams like Illinois that tried to bludgeon Purdue and play that had nothing to do with basketball, right? Wisconsin did that where they hit guys between after the whistles, and you didn't out tough Purdue. Not with Edey there. Purdue has been out toughed. I'd say I would argue, and I think you could argue this, that Yale out tough Purdue already this season too. I don't think Bama did. Bama plays a different pace. Bama does not play much defense at all, but they play fast, right? So that's the thing. This team is all based on defense, and it went right at Purdue's weaknesses. And well coached, they kicked Purdue's ass. Cam Heide, 8 points, 2 for 3 from deep. On the other side of the ball, like I said, this is noteworthy. Cam Jones is really, really good. 17 points, 13 boards, 10 assists. You're not going to see that a lot this year. Steve Mitchell, because you have a guy with a triple-double, and then you have another guy with 21 points, 4 steals. 21 points, 4 steals. I mean, this is real simple. Just do that. Hey, all these teams Purdue's going to play, just do that. Have a guy with a triple-double, have another guy with 21 points and 4 assists. Oh, yeah, and then have another guy with 12 points, 5 boards, and 4 steals. That's it. If you do that, that's how you beat Purdue. It's that simple. Sorry for being a smart ass, but that's an absurd thing. Okay, on the free throw line, Purdue, same thing they've been doing, 66%, 67% free throws. Didn't shoot the 3 well, which is a killer for this team, 33% made. On the other side of the ball, goodness gracious. Marquette hits 93% of their free throws. Out rebounds Purdue by 1. Purdue had more assists than they did, which is good, but 11 steals to Purdue's 2. Purdue turns the ball over 15 times. They turn the ball over just 6. There you go. So you're going to lose games when a team does everything they want to do, and Marquette just did this. Next up, Purdue plays Marshall on Big Ten Network Minus on the 23rd at noon. So if you have BTN Minus, if you got one of those free things, good for you. And you get to watch the game. Everybody else, pound sand, I guess. Let me see if I can catch up where we were. Come back there. I'll find it. I know I will. Okay. Here we go. I found it. Okay. Matt Keller says this is an older team. The Marquette team he played. Yeah, no kidding. PU Boiling Point says Shaka is the Chris Kramer, Aaron Kraft of coaches, annoying as hell if he's not yours. Yeah, Shaka, this is the best Shaka Smart team he's had in a while. Like when I say this is the best Shaka Smart team, this is what he wants to do. This is exactly what he wants to do. And he's able to do it because he's got the right pieces, I'd argue. So, yeah, they look good. KMKV6 says Colvin looked good on rebounding. Colvin looked good on defense and rebound. I think that's one thing that gets lost when a team plays that poorly on offense like Purdue did today. It's a shame because Colvin's details were good. Heidi, how many boards did I say Heidi had? Dang nabbit. Got to go back here. I want to just out of curiosity, I want to check this. Heidi only had 2. So that's a bit of, they need Heidi to be an absolute beast on the glass. To be an effective team this year, Purdue needs that now, and we know that. Nick Cristiano says, Caleb first fall from grace needs to be studied. He gets stuffed and blocked. That baseline play was tough. I think he missed several free throws, turned the ball over. He and Berg need to work. Caleb first, it's interesting to me. I still think he's one of the best athletes on the team. He's quick. He can leap. He's strong. But those two plays where he got blocked or pinned, he's got to make decisions quicker, right? You got to attack. And part of that's mentality, part of that's ability. But yeah, it's a head scratcher, no doubt. I've got a theory about it, but I'm not going to talk about it here. L says, Colvin had 8 rebounds. He's really playing well. How about that? I didn't even give him credit for that. That's awesome. Colvin had 8 rebounds, playing well, starts making shots again. He'll be great. Yeah, and I think he will because he's got that in the bag. That's something he's always going to have. Northern Kentucky played Cincinnati, played him tough, looks like. So you'll remember Northern Kentucky played Purdue recently. Kentucky beats them 76-60, pulled away at the end. Yeah, that's a great point there about Colvin. Merrick Helvey says, "What's up, Mr. Dad? How are you, Merrick? You got to take a Purdue visit, brother. Got to do it. Doesn't matter where your friends are going, Merrick. At least just give Purdue a little look. It's all I'm asking, my friend." Tim Swartzel says, "First does everything well. He gets the rim. It then seems soft." Yeah. Joe Ainsley says, gold hitting threes was not ideal. Yeah, is he the big guy? Is he the 7-footer? I think he is. But he's good. Having a 7-footer can pop out there. He's good. Let's see. Tim Soldier said, "I wish he could put it all together." I think are you talking about first. Yeah, we were talking about that earlier on that sidebar. No doubt. Gentry Bean says, "Why is Purdue poor on plays after time? Why is Purdue poor on plays after timeout? Seems like consistently turn the ball over. Trying to get towards the rim, need to set up threes." I think it comes back to, I hate to get in the heads of people when I really don't know what they're doing, but it feels to me like the old safety blanket of saying pound in, go for the high percentage shot, go to the middle. It's a lot easier when you have a dominant force underneath, and Purdue doesn't have that right now. They got to get back. You got to look back at some of the actions that Shrewsbury would do, and PJ might benefit from looking at some of the stuff that Shrewsbury was doing when he was offensive coordinator. It's a different team. It's a different makeup. You really, you got to go back 4 years. That's a crazy thing to do, to say, okay, got to change the way you're thinking. Ed Albanese, the Gummy Bear King, says, first with those fake pumps. First, I get it. First with those fake pumps, looks like a freshman. Yeah, he's just got to make decisions, go to the hoop, right? That's all there is to it. Josh Mangus says, tonight is just a reminder that this is still a work in progress. Friday is a glimpse of what the team can be. Good point. That up and down nature of this season is going to be, I think it's going to be something we have to live with. And this is the whole idea of me saying this team's a work in progress. I said it 2 games ago in my thumbnail. It's a work in progress. They're going to be up and down. They're going to play great games, and then they're going to play games that are frustrating. In great games, you're going to see that rhythm on offense that we saw at times versus Bama. You're going to see a team that has 5 guys on the court who can hit a 3, and then you're going to see games like this where they just don't have any rhythm at all, and everybody's just trying to figure it out. But Purdue's going to rely heavily on the deep ball. And to do that, you have to have good motion, and you have to have guys that are all tuned in to the system and not to kind of just trying to do it the old-fashioned way and put their back to the basket. Really, Marquette took Purdue out of everything they wanted to do, though. I mean, everything. So Ben Carnahan said this team needs to learn from these lessons. Realistically, our best chance at another Final Four is next year. Take our lumps and move on. I've been pointing at next year. I think it's okay to say this year is a year that you're transitioning and getting better and working on that. But I don't think there's any reason to rule this year out as not being something that could be a ton of fun. I hate looking ahead for an entire season because so much happens in a season. But I'm with you on that. I agree with the sentiment there. Gentry Bean says, Heidi's a bright spot today. Glad he's back. Heidi and Colvin. Fletch played a great first half. And it felt like Fletch was doing a little bit what he did versus Bama, where he had a couple shots. Boy, Michigan State. I don't know who that is. Dude mashed on somebody tonight. Carr. That was a killer dunk. There's like 3 really good dunks. UConn had one. I think Marquette had one on fast break versus Purdue too. So Jonathan Long says, love first attitude and loyalty. Me too. I love the kid, period. I think he's awesome. I think he's a great dude off the court. I think he's a good locker room guy. I think he's got great attitude. I think he's a great athlete. Yeah, I agree. So yeah, I'll continue. Can contribute at times, but unfortunately has always been poor at finishing at the rim if contested. Yeah, it's a head scratcher. Again, it's a head scratcher. But yeah, I love the kid. I wish he was what I thought he would be this year, but he's not. And yeah, I don't know. If he had the mentality of putting the ball in the hoop or on the floor once, pounding it and just going right up and trying to mash with 2 hands, maybe he'd get it done. I don't know. But he really doesn't have that. He's like always trying to find a way to get around the defender, not go through him. And he's big and strong enough to go through people. L says, this is a good question. With the loss, will we see a new starting lineup with Heidi and Colvin? I think the loss will give Purdue a new starting lineup. I don't think it'll be Heidi and Colvin at the same time, but this is Painter's history, right? After a loss, he'll shake things up in something that you thought maybe should have been shaken up 2-3 games ago, but they were still winning. He doesn't change things when they're winning. My guess is you'll see Heidi. That's because of his ability to rebound. But like you said, Colvin had 8 tonight, but Heidi's ability to match up with people. I mean, I don't know anything about Marshall. I'm just gonna be real honest. I have not watched Marshall play. I haven't even watched a highlight from Marshall. So I don't know what to expect there. I do think I wouldn't want to play Purdue right after they played this way. I just think Painter will be pissed off in practice and Purdue will show it next game. So I could be wrong. Karen Grulock says, my Fort Wayne dudes are special. Yeah, they are. And Purdue has leaned heavily into the Fort Wayne guys. And it's good for the program, clearly. Good to see you, Karen. Glad you came on here. And it's okay. Couple losses. It's okay. We're all going to get through this together, Karen. We had a DM conversation earlier, so nobody likes losing. I hope everybody understands that. I don't like losing, but I'm going to try to. Number one, a lot of goodwill for me was banked last year. I don't know if you guys remember this, but Purdue went to the Final Four, went to the final game, and so for me, that gave me the ability to take a big deep breath on behalf of the program, on behalf of myself, being so angst ridden about having the program get it done. But the second part is I'm like, I believe they can do it again. That's the other thing. Now that I've seen it with my own 2 eyes, I believe they can do it again. And I believe this team can do it. They just need to grow up a little bit. And they will grow up. But this year, especially with the loss of Jacobson, it's going to be harder. That growth curve will take a little bit longer. What's it going to take to grow up? Like many of you alluded to, it's going to take Heidi and Colvin right now looking for their shot, but at the same time staying within the system, that's a tough thing to do, right? Last year we saw Colvin early in the season come in, bomb, bomb, bomb. He was always just looking to shoot. And I think Painter's like, don't come in looking to shoot all the time. Come in to play your role. And so that's an interesting thing to try to figure out. Yeah, Ed Albany says we have a few games to rebound. Yeah, there's a few opponents here that aren't the quality of Marquette and Alabama. Surely you can see that on the horizon. There's some good teams coming. San Diego, there's some good teams. Texas A&M is going to be good, in Indianapolis, no doubt. But at the same time, Purdue can't take anybody lightly. We saw it the other night versus Yale. You even saw it versus Northern Kentucky. I mean, Northern Kentucky wasn't a threat to beat Purdue, but they shrunk it down a couple times, right? So Purdue's got to figure some things out. So Matt Keller says, I know it's not Painter's way, but why not press? He has an athletic team now. Remember that it used to be something Painter would do. Would have a guy pressuring ball out to 90 feet. And we saw this with Cox. Cox likes to do that. He likes to go out there to kind of make it difficult on teams. He showed a little glimmer, by the way, in the first half before completely getting outmatched. But I liked what, in the first half, I thought, man, this guy, he's got a bulldog mentality. We're going to love him. But he'll learn from this tonight, too. I mean, seeing a team up close that does it well, what you want to do, that's good for a guy like Cox, no doubt. Joe Hensley says next Thursday is a Final Four rematch against NC State. Yeah, there you go. So NC State lost a lot, didn't they? I think they lost a lot. Remember when they lost that? They lost the big dude. They lost the point guard. They had a pointer or shooting guard who was like 24, 25. I think they had a couple guys in their backcourt that were 24, 25. So they're a bit like Purdue in that they're trying to find their identity again. They also, if you remember, they came off an ACC tournament where they thought their coach was going to get fired. And I would not be surprised to see NC State further behind Purdue in development. But again, that's another team I haven't watched. So I'm sure there's somebody who's watched every team play so far. I just haven't had time. Brandon Smitley says, after the Bama game, I felt like the law of averages would say this would be a trap game for us. It's hitting a trap. This is a really good team. So it's not a trap. This isn't, you didn't lose to a bad team here. Our youth showed here, but luckily that will buff over the year and next few years for the freshmen. Yeah, it's not to me, I'm sorry about that, calling this on the terminology. When I think of a trap game, I always think of the next game. A trap game is a team that you probably shouldn't lose to, but you lose to because you're like, we just beat a great team and we're taking our foot off the gas a little bit. Marquette was a good team coming in, and I think they're going to show they're a really good team. I don't think this was a fluke, what we saw tonight. I just think they've got firepower. They're very good. And so that's about it. That's a relatively quick post game. Hope you enjoyed me coming on early and calling the game. I wasn't saying the game was over. I was saying I thought it was over, and I was pretty confident that Purdue wasn't going to come back from a 13-point deficit at that 3-minute and 30 mark. So good to see everybody. Good to talk to everybody. Merrick, keep Purdue in mind. Hammer down. Talk to you soon. God bless you. Have a good evening.